this is where the journey starts to get weird, and it continues to stay weird for the whole time. So I finished my degree in 2016. I went into medical sales. I sold surgical lights and surgical tables to hospitals around the whole state of Washington.
Holy crap.
And so during that time, I realized that I did not enjoy what I was doing, and I bought my first camera. So I bought the A6000. I actually put a bid on it in eBay, and I was hoping I didn't win because I didn't have the money. And I won. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go broke buying this camera. So I bought the camera, and I was in love with it. And so everywhere I drove, I would like stop on the side of the road and take photos and take videos. And then on these drives, I would listen to YouTube videos and podcasts on how to use a camera. And so I'd go on these 6-hour drives to Eastern Washington or 4-hour drives to the coast and up and down the coast. And I just put on a podcast and or type into YouTube, like, why does this video suck? And like find a video and like make a playlist and like listen to them. So that's how I learned how to use a camera at first. And then I got into, a friend asked me to film a wedding for her, and I was like, nope, too much pressure. And she's like, you're going to do it. And I'm like, nope. She's like, you're going to do it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. So I did it, and learned a lot. And shortly after that, I decided to quit my medical sales job. My boss was like, what are you going to do next? And I was like, I'm going to do wedding videos. I had 3 booked when I quit my job. So I was terrified.
And were you paying rent at a place?
Absolutely. I had enough to pay for like 1.5 months of rent, but I was like, I'm going to do it. I was 20, almost 24. And I ended up filming like 18 weddings that summer. So I like made it work, but that was like how I learned how to use a camera. So I didn't really start filming until like 2017.
You had 3 weddings booked though. How do you go from having 3, quitting your job, to now booking 18?
It's a great question. I think people found out that I did it for really cheap, and I didn't know what the market was. So I was actually talking to Ed about this at the time. He's like, "You're charging what?" And I was like, I told him, and he's like, "Yeah, $13."
An Uncrustable?
Yeah, exactly.
And an Uncrustable.
At least 2. Yeah, I would charge 2 Uncrustables. And so word got around, and I had a lot of friends. A lot of my friends got married early, so they would just kind of toss me out to their friends. And when I told them my rate, I should have known better, but I didn't know anything about business. So I was like, oh, they're just saying yes, and I'm like making money, and I had no idea, I had no concept of how to charge for, a gig or a wedding. So yeah, I put out rates really cheap and just did a bunch, and that's where I learned how to use a camera. And that was 2017. And then my buddy Taiki, shout out Taiki, he saw one of my wedding videos, and then he brought me on to his baseball media company, worked there for about 1.5 years, and then we moved to LA in 2020.
With Taiki?
With Taiki. We lived together in Santa Monica, actually like a mile down the road, which is crazy. So we lived together, and then we made a video that my now coworker saw and was like, hey, we just had a guy quit. Like, would you be down to apply for this job? And
just DM'd you?
He actually went about it in a very proper way. He called Taiki and my other boss and asked if it was okay to talk to me. They said sure. So he called me and talked about the job. So yeah, but he just saw a video that had gone online, and then I applied for the job, and here we are.
Post your damn work, dude. That is like insane.
Yeah. I mean, really share your work.
Post your freaking work.
You really never know who's going to be seeing your stuff. So you go in to get interviewed, right? Or do you just kind of get handed the job?
Yeah, I mean, I do like 3 interviews. Yeah.
And so what are some of these questions they're asking you? Are they asking you about your ability to like produce, you know what I'm saying? Like how you were talking, like there's so much more that goes into the job as opposed to just being like, yo, I can chef this sick edit.
Right. I mean, for this job, okay.
No, and it's also equally important that you could hang out with them, with the people that you interview, and I don't think enough people talk about that it for sure matters how good your work is, but it also matters if they can hang out with you, and if you're going to ask Clayton Kershaw for a photo, or if you're just going to be super professional, get your job done, and make really cool stuff.
And are they down to get some ice cream with you or eat an Uncrustable with you?
Exactly.
That's the first question that they actually asked. Yeah.
Is Uncrustable or
How
ice
many
cream?
do you crush? And are you going to steal your ice cream from the Dodgers clubhouse?
Yes and yes. And they're like,
And
you're
they're
in.
bingo, we got our guy. So I think, well, that was the thing, is up to that point, I'd done a little bit of producing, but not to the extent that this job requires. And so I was upfront and honest about that. They asked about, my shooting background, how long I've been doing it, what I've shot in the past. Luckily, they had seen some of my work previously, but the portfolio wasn't huge. So I kind of had to sell myself a little bit. My now coworker helped sell me on it too. But I think just being honest about what your skill set is a big thing too, and not trying to do too much. And I think, like you were saying, is just showing that you can be a normal person, be a professional, and not be weird about being around these guys. I'm not even like the biggest sports fan, which is ironic, because I'm like, there's a billion other people that would enjoy this job so much more than me. But I think I proved myself that I could be normal around these guys who were professionals, and that's what we are supposed to be too, and be professionals. We're essentially at the highest level, kind of in the sports world, that you can go with a camera, at least for like these teams. And so we're supposed to be professionals too, and so we got to go about our business the right way, and make sure that we're treating these guys with obviously respect, but not weirding them out, not being weird, not crossing any lines, so that's a big thing. And so I think that's part of what helped sell